The stakes are high for them in year 2 of the Sharon Moore regime because you only get to make a first impression once with like what new Michigan is going to be. Last year was kind of a carryover of sorts. A lot of Jim Harbaugh guys, a lot of Jim Harbaugh's way of doing things, which I think Sharon Moore is still going to keep in place. But new quarterback in Bryce Underwood. If you're a Michigan fan, you're freaking pumped about Bryce Underwood. And you should be. New offense and Chip Lindsey. Spread it out a little bit more. We're not having Bryce Underwood under center running Spider 34Y banana, which is all well and good. Also, just how they acquire talent. Like we talk about Larry Ellison and the Dave Portnoy, tangential involvement. They're playing ball at a high level when it comes to acquiring talent on the NIL front. More power to them. So if you have success this year and it looks good, and the first look at new Michigan football is like, hey, I want to go be a part of that. Hey, they won 10 games, made the college football playoff. Like you show some flashes. That advertisement is going to be elite. Because the product, what I just spoke to, is Bryce Underwood balling as a freshman. That's the product you're advertising. But the pitch of we need more weapons, hey, we need more pieces to go surround ourselves with this freak show, generational, all the cliche, maybe hyperbolic things you can label Bryce Underwood. If you have that to add to him, okay, now we're cooking. Now we're real deal cooking. So if it doesn't work on the flip side of that, if the first impression goes a little bit sour, it's not done, right? Just because you have a bad first date doesn't mean you're not still going to end up at the altar at some point in time. But if it's a bad first impression for new Michigan, as I go ahead and coin it right now, to the offense, to the quarterback, all that. Same discussion we had around Alabama and the buzz and the murmurs and the headlines as to doubting Kalen DeBoer. It's just so predictable with what you would see there with a Michigan and a Jim Harbaugh Sharon Moore discussion, because people will start to say, yeah, Sharon Moore, he won. Yeah, he's 2-0 against Ohio State. It's all well and good, but with Jim Harbaugh's guys, with Jim Harbaugh's way of doing things, headline doesn't matter. Headline does not matter. I happen to believe that the culture internally in Ann Arbor is too strong for that to be something that has any real basis to separate that locker room or separate that building. But again, recruiting momentum, that's what it would impact. That's what coaches will be able to pitch against Sharon Moore and that staff on the recruiting trail. So the stakes, I think, are even higher too because of what you have on the schedule. Like if I'm a Michigan fan, I'm looking at this whole setup. I'm like, we can actually do this. Like the path is very obvious. If you get past Washington with 2 losses or less in the month of October, before you play Ohio State, you play a team in Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, and Maryland that all did not play for a bowl game a year ago. Now, they could be better. People can change. But I would love that ramp up if I'm Michigan. That, to me, just screams get past Washington with 2 losses. You're playing Ohio State with a trip to the college football playoff on the line. If you get past it with less, then more power to you. You could, I won't even say it. I won't talk about losing the Ohio State game for you during a Michigan segment, but you could, in theory, have a second loss somewhere along the way, still be a playoff team at 10-2. So, playoff year 1 with Bryce Underwood, think about what that would mean. What I just said, 1, you could easily see Michigan finish in the top 5 of the recruiting rankings at the end of the year. I think there's that much juice, that much momentum, that much excitement, that much resource power to where Michigan finishing in that range, completely on the table. Completely on the table. Second thing I would say is in the context of 2025, you get to the playoff with Bryce Underwood having 12, dare I say 13 if they make the Big Ten title game under his belt, that many games, that many starts. We've seen confident Michigan before. Saw him against Ohio State, saw him post Ohio State beat Alabama. Confident Michigan's dangerous Michigan, especially with what they're working with internally, again, with all the unquantifiables they seem to major in. Because it wasn't the talent that beat Ohio State. Contrary to how you feel about Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant and all those guys, great players, elite players. But Ohio State had more talent on that day. Michigan just majored in and won in all the other stuff. All the other stuff running hot into the college football playoff with a freshman quarterback that you would hope has his swagger at that point in time. I would not want to see that brand of Michigan the first round of the playoff or whatever round I saw them. So at that point, it's very, very real as to what Michigan could accomplish in 2025.